Hey Grand Adventurers, welcome back. I'm your host Mark Guido, and we're spending this week exploring Montana's beautiful Bitterroot Valley. Come along. The Bitterroot Valley stretches for 95 miles across southwestern Montana, along the Bitterroot River between the Bitterroot Range and Sapphire Mountains, from Lost Trail Pass at its southern end to Missoula at its northern end. It averages 7 to 10 miles wide and is uniquely low gradient for western Montana streams. Numerous deeply carved granite canyons enter the west side of the valley from the Bitterroot Mountains. The Bitterroot River is a northward flowing 84-mile river running through the center of the Bitterroot Valley, ending at its confluence with the Clark Fork River near Missoula, itself a tributary of the Columbia River, and ultimately the Pacific Ocean. The Bitterroot River is a blue ribbon trout fishery with a healthy population of native West Slope cutthroat trout and bull trout. It is the third most fly-fished river in Montana. Many species of ducks and waterfowl are common along with osprey, bald eagles, and heron. Elk, moose, and both white-tailed deer and mule deer frequent the river as a source of water and to graze near its banks. In early September 1805, the Lewis and Clark expedition crossed Lost Trail Pass from present-day Idaho in order to connect with the overland route through the Rocky Mountains. They followed the Bitterroot River northward to the point where it connects with the Nez Perce Trail in Lolo Creek. Before continuing their difficult journey to the west, they named their camp Traveler's Rest. We visited the archaeological remains of their Traveler's Rest camp for our episode 322, filmed in the summer of 2023, which we'll link to right here on the screen, if you'd like to go back and check it out. The major industries throughout the Bitterroot Valley are ranching, agriculture, forestry, and tourism, including hiking, backpacking, mountain biking, and rock climbing in the surrounding mountains, and birding and fishing along the Bitterroot River. The Bitterroot Valley had nearly 1 million apple trees in the early 1900s. It was one of the world's largest producers of McIntosh apples at that time. Approximately 80 miles of canals provided the water for irrigation. We've split our week in the Bitterroot Valley between two different campsites. We started out here at the Charles Waters Campground, part of the Bass Creek Recreation Area of Bitterroot National Forest, where there are 26 paved campsites plus one double site, including 4 pull-through, 1 bicycle site, and 1 horse site. All are dry, first come, first served camping, except for the 1 accessible site with electrical hookup. Sites here cost $15 per night. The campground is filled with tall ponderosa pines right at the foot of the Bitterroot Mountains. Only one site has decent solar and an unobstructed view for Starlink satellite internet. However, after a few days in the only other site at Charles Waters that kinda worked for us, it became clear that the occupant of that site wasn't going anywhere until his 16-day maximum stay was up, dashing our hopes to take his place. And a large ponderosa pine on the east side of our site was effectively blocking our solar production until 1 p.m. each day. So we moved a few miles up the valley to the Chief Looking Glass Campground, part of a fishing access site on a backwater of the Bitterroot River, operated by the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. This is another dry campground with 16 sites with gravel pads, plus a camp host site, with ample opportunity to fish or birdwatch directly from many of those sites. There are dumpsters on site and a hand pump for well water. Camping here costs $18 per night, plus a Montana conservation license that costs $10 per year. A network of short trails crisscrosses state land on the north and west sides of the campground for a relaxing opportunity to walk the dog or ride our e-bike after work through both healthy forests and scenic valley meadows. Our nights at Chief Looking Glass Campground have been peaceful and serene, with our sleep serenaded by the sounds of geese and other waterfowl on the river slough, and accentuated by the comfort of our quality RV mattress from our valued video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. Improve your sleep while camping with a new RV mattress from our video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. They offer 4 different mattress constructions in 21 different sizes, depending on preference and price point. Everything from standard queen to all of those funky, odd RV sizes. Brooklyn Bedding manufactures all of its mattresses right at their factory in Arizona. And rvmattress.com ships them right to your door for free, all rolled up and compressed in a vacuum seal. Just cut the wrap to unroll the mattress onto your bed, then cut the vacuum seal. For our mattress, Brooklyn Bedding starts with a layer of high-density foam for a supported base. just above the base, an 8-inch core of over 1,000 individually encased coils provides the essential support. Immediately above the coils is a 1-inch layer of memory foam and 2-inch layer of hyperelastic TitanFlex foam. Finally, at the very top is a 1.5-inch layer of antimicrobial Copperflex foam with TitanCool, which is designed to maintain an ideal sleep body temperature of 88 degrees. Every RV mattress from Brooklyn Bedding comes with a limited lifetime warranty and a 120-night sleep trial. Visit rvmattress.com/grandadventure and use code GRANDADVENTURE to get a full 30% off your entire order. Communities within the Bitterroot Valley include Lolo in Missoula County, and Florence, Stevensville, Victor, Corvallis, Hamilton, Darby, Connor, and Sula in Ravalli County. Hamilton, the largest town and the county seat of Ravalli County, is home to 2 microbiological research and production facilities, the government-run Rocky Mountain Laboratories, and a branch of the GlaxoSmithKline Corporation. The town was founded by Copper King Marcus Daly in the late 19th century and named for J.W. Hamilton, who provided the right-of-way to the railroad. The valley is the primary shooting location of the TV series Yellowstone, with the Dutton Ranch scenes shot at the real-life Chief Joseph Ranch in Darby, with other scenes filmed in Missoula. Here in Hamilton, the historic Daly Mansion serves as the governor's residence. In the Bitterroot Mountains, between Hamilton and Darby, Como Dam was constructed by local farmers around 1910 to impound a natural lake for irrigation storage. Today, 1.4 square mile Lake Como is a centerpiece of summer recreation, with a swimming beach, campgrounds, a boat launch, and numerous hiking trails. Just north of Hamilton, Stevensville is officially recognized as the first permanent settlement of non-indigenous peoples in the state of Montana. 48 years before Montana became the nation's 41st state, Stevensville was settled by Jesuit missionaries at the request of the Bitterroot Salish tribe. In 1841, Jesuit priests, led by the well-traveled Belgian missionary Pierre-Jean de Smet, founded St. Mary's Mission near present-day Stevensville. The mission structure seen here today was rebuilt in 1866. The Bitterroot Salish people actually welcomed the Catholic missionaries, and in fact sent 4 separate delegations to St. Louis, Missouri to beg for priests to be sent. Father Anthony Ravalli, who joined the mission in 1845, lent his name to Ravalli County. He inoculated the Indians against smallpox and ran the dispensary from this pharmacy window, kind of like the first drive-through pharmacy. Father Ravalli's apple tree here is now nearly 150 years old, and and still blossoms. Raids by Blackfeet Indians, the enemies of the Bitterroot Salish, closed the mission in 1850. The abandoned church was burned to the ground, following the usual practice in such raids. The Jesuits then sold the surrounding village to trader John Owen for $250, even though it had been built on Salish land. After 16 years, St. Mary's Mission started afresh here in 1866, a mile south of the first colony. The Catholic Salish attended sermons in the new church, and later, white settlers in the area would come as well, prompting the expansion of the church in 1879. By October 1891, relations between settlers and the Bitterroot Salish had broken down, and Chief Charlot and his people were forced to move to the Flathead Reservation, spelling the end of St. Mary's as an Indian mission. In 1921, the church became St. Mary's Parish, and in 1953, work began on a new chapel, and the historic St. Mary's Chapel was retired. It underwent restorations in the 1970s and 80s, and in 1996, a visitor center and museum were added. The St. Mary's Mission Historic District was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2010. Just north of Stevensville, the 2,800-acre Lee Metcalf National Wildlife Refuge lines the east bank of the Bitterroot River. About 235 species of birds have been documented on the refuge, with over 100 nesting here. Additionally, 37 species of mammals and 17 species of reptiles and amphibians have also been documented. The biggest town around, Missoula, sits at the northern end of the Bitterroot Valley. We'll take a drive into Missoula following a quick ad break to pay the bills, so stay tuned. Missoula sits at the convergence of 5 mountain ranges, roughly 15 miles north of Chief Looking Glass Campground, and thus it is often described as the hub of 5 valleys. An eclectic mix of nearly 120,000 loggers, hippies, college students, sports fans, and retirees populate the greater Missoula metropolitan area, as it's home to the University of Montana. Missoula was founded in 1860 as Hellgate Trading Post, while still part of the Washington Territory. By 1866, the settlement had moved east, 5 miles upstream, and had been renamed Missoula Mills, after the Salish name for the Clark Fork River, later shortened to just Missoula. The establishment of Fort Missoula in 1877 to protect settlers further stabilized the economy, and the arrival of the Northern Pacific Railway in 1883 brought rapid growth and the maturation of the local lumber industry. Surf, Montana. This is a great stocking up point for RV travelers as virtually anything is available in Missoula. It's also got the best deal around on propane at Brett's RV, just off I-90 on the north side of town. Sign up for their email list and get propane here for only 99 cents per gallon. Between our camp and Missoula, what are distinctly ski runs are clearly visible on the northeast slope of 9,096-foot Lolo Peak. But I already knew that there's never been a ski area here, so I had to investigate. Back around the year 2000, rancher Tom McClay, whose family settled in the Bitterroot Valley way back in 1883, hired ski resort planners to conceptualize a 5,000 vertical foot ski area on his 2,900-acre ranch and adjacent Forest Service land. While the lower mountain would have been largely dependent on snowmaking, the upper mountain slopes closer to the summit of Lolo Peak would have been much more snowshore. He envisioned a typical all-season ski resort with an upscale residential village, augmented by shopping, restaurants, a golf course, and an ice skating rink. In 2003, McClay began clearing 30 ski runs. The only problem? He failed to obtain Forest Service permits first. Instead, McClay shot first and asked for permission later. The U.S. Attorney's Office sued McClay in 2006 for cutting down over 400 trees on Forest Service land, including within the protected Carlton Ridge Research Natural Area. McClay settled out of court, and the property went into foreclosure in 2009. McClay's lenders bought the property at auction in 2012 for $22.5 million. A scenic drive into the Bitterroot Mountains, following the route of Lewis and Clark along Lolo Creek, brings one to Lolo Hot Springs, near the top of 5,233-foot Lolo Pass at the Idaho border. The Lewis and Clark expedition passed by and used the springs on June 29, 1806, while traveling east on their return from the mouth of the Columbia River. We're going to do the same this evening. Here you'll find an indoor mineral spring hot pool maintained at 106 degrees, and an outdoor swimming pool warmed by the hot spring water, along with a bar and restaurant, cabin rentals, a year-round RV park, tent camping, disc golf, and snowmobile rentals in winter. One neat little factoid: it was also the site of the first luge run in North America, built here in 1965. One word of advice: should you choose to visit Lolo Hot Springs in the evening, be sure to keep a sharp eye out for the critters as you drive back down US 12. We hope that you've enjoyed exploring Montana's beautiful Bitterroot Valley with us. Now, for those of you who prefer your campsites with hookups, coming up next week, we're going to be heading for Lost Moose Meadows RV Campground in Lincoln, Montana, up near Sealy Lake. And that's also where the social part of our camping season is going to be getting started, as we'll be hooking up with the two other couples who we'll be traveling with for most of the rest of the summer. And I promise you, some of those folks are going to look familiar to you. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, now is the perfect time for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, and ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. Understand, it's extremely important to us that if you like this episode from the Bitterroot Valley, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section where we love to hear from you each and every week. So until next Wednesday from Lincoln, Montana, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.